Hi, I'm Joe Connolly with Neil A. Caruso for Dime Community Bank, New York's best business bank. You ought to write a book, sometimes people say. Well, Stacy Ross Cohen, founder and CEO of well known New York area marketing firm Co Communications, in business for 25 years, has written one to help high school and especially college students to use social media in a positive way to start now building their brand for the goal of a better career and a better future. And I like this, Stacy. You say in the book, personal branding is not about me, me, me. It's about the value that you bring to others. How, Stacy, can people get away from me, me to expressing the value that they bring to others?
Great question and good morning, Joe. So it's really, really key for teens and college students to figure out what their superpower is. What is the gift that they bring to the world? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's a college admissions officer or a job recruiter. Why should they choose this applicant over the others? And as we all know, it's a very connected, cluttered, and competitive world. And I'm trying to give teens and college students an edge over others.
That's so interesting. I've heard people say, describe your special skill and everything, but use a very interesting word that I think young people light up to. I've never heard it put that way. What is the gift that you bring to the world? Does an example that a student gave come to mind, Stacy?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And really, what it is, you know, what can the student bring to the college campus, or what can they bring to a work environment? A particular student that I have in mind she actually started a tutoring business in high school, and if you think about it, what that is perceived by the college admissions officers, they're looking for certain characteristics. It's not just about GPAs and test scores now. As a matter of fact, a lot of schools have become test optional. So they're looking at this teen and see that they started their own business, and that conveys leadership skills. And that's very important to admission officers.
Right. And that's so nice, the example you gave. Here's a girl who started a tutoring business while in high school. That's a great attention getter. It really is. I have to ask you one quick question before Neil asks a couple of questions. Sometimes parents say too much social media, just no more social media, or it has to be cut back. Obviously, in this case, you say no, use this social media.
Yes, kids need to use social media to their advantage and show their best attributes. And I just have to say a word about parents is that I hear from a lot of kids, and I speak to a lot of teens and college students, that they feel that their parents are on social media too much. So again, it's got to be a balance. I think parents need to be good role models, but teens need to figure out how can they use social media to their best advantage. And one recommendation I have is that every 16-year-old should be on LinkedIn.
Neil?
I was going to ask you about LinkedIn. I mean, is that still the gold standard for networking? Are there other platforms people should be using?
LinkedIn is absolutely still the gold standard for networking. And and again, it's like most teens, and you can understand this, Neil, most teens like are fully engaged in Instagram or TikTok when they're in their teens. What I'm saying is develop your professional persona, get on LinkedIn, and then also what you need to do with LinkedIn, you've got to connect with your college audience or job recruiters and really start engaging with them. So, for example, if a teen wants to go to Vanderbilt and they want to get into the engineering program, they should be connecting with the department chair of engineering. They should register on the college website. They should be following admissions officers, alumni, faculty, etc., and really start making connections. I actually have in the book one full chapter on networking because I want kids to start networking at an early age. I have two 20-year-olds, and I've told them that it's not in this life what you know, because they're both incredibly bright kids, but it really is who you know and who you're connected to, and who you're connected to is going to help yield success for your future career.
And networking has changed so much. I mean, even since I was in college, because there used to be all these networking events, and now everything's moved online, and in a lot of cases has still stayed online even after the pandemic. But I've heard of people that are in college or just out of college using Instagram. They're DMing people and getting connected with job opportunities that way. Is that dangerous though? Does that cross a professional line? Because a lot of times people aren't putting their best foot forward. They're immature. They're not putting their best, professional self on Instagram.
That's a really good question. But here's the thing: they need to make sure if they're connecting in a professional way on Instagram, that their Instagram is professional, right? So if they're a budding artist, they want to showcase beautiful photos of maybe they're a photographer, they want to show their beautiful photos or artwork and make sure that that is being highlighted on Instagram. Again, I think you have to also at the same time be human. So we don't want to be robotic. You can, of course, still post other pictures of sunrises and being with friends, but just be mindful. You want to think about everything you put on any of your social platforms, and you want to really put it through the test. You want to pause. You want to make sure that the information is positive, it's ethical, it's respectful. And I always say to kids, like, would you want something that you post online to be streamed across a Times Square billboard? And the answer is no, you probably do not want to post. And the one thing that teens and adults have to remember, everything you put online is permanent and discoverable. So a lot of people think you can erase a certain post, but that is not the case. So again, just be very mindful of what you post. And I always talk about a digital footprint, right? You need to create a positive digital footprint. If you think about it, Google is the new resume. And I think there's an average of almost 6.1 Google searches per minute. So that what that means, Neil and Joe, someone is Googling us like right at this very minute. So you want to make sure that you Google yourself and that you're very mindful of what's online. The other thing is that 75% of admission officers are now looking at kids' social media. And we also know that job recruiters, that's even higher. It's 85%. So again, this is just, I believe that the earlier you start this personal branding muscle and creating a positive online presence, the more success you'll achieve in whatever your path, your career path may be.
I thought that was great basic advice. Whatever your interest is, reach out on LinkedIn to the head of that department or the head of that division of the school. And we were unable to do that. We couldn't even find their name, probably, when I was applying to college. You can have a personal contact with your future mentors before you even arrive. Yeah.
Yes, yes, exactly. You can, it's also, I think COVID has accelerated a lot of this. It's all about building relationships, but at the end of the day, you need to figure out how to reach out to these decision makers. You want to essentially, in all of this, get on the top of a decision maker's list. So you need to start building that relationship.
Get to the top of the list. And this is Stacy's book. Excellent book for college students, especially, and even for high school students, like the young woman who started a tutoring business. But there are also some sections of this book that are very good for people who are just starting their own business, adults. Stacy Cohen, Co-Communications, author of Brand Up. Thanks a lot, Stacy.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Neil. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.